One thing stands between you and the life that you were meant to live, and it's simpler than you think. Did you know that nearly every successful person throughout history shares one thing in common? It's not wealth, it's not fame, it's not talent or intelligence. In fact, the answer might surprise you, and it has the power to transform your life, your business, and your legacy. Hello my friends, and welcome to Momentum with McKay. My name is McKay Christian Moen, and I am a life and career coach who helps men pursue purpose, build confidence, and live out the calling that God has placed on their lives. I believe that we are all created on purpose for a purpose, and my mission here is simple: to encourage, equip, and empower you to become the best version of yourself and pursue the life that God is calling you to live. Every week, we'll talk about the habits, disciplines, mindsets, and decisions that shape your direction and ultimately your destiny. So today, we're starting with the foundation: momentum. The dictionary might give a more technical definition, but in a practical sense for this podcast, momentum is a force that's always at work, either for you or against you. When you have positive momentum, life is good. You think clearer, you act with confidence, and you make progress even during the most difficult seasons of life. This is where it feels like you have wind in your sails. You're moving faster and farther toward the destination that you're trying to reach. And when you lose it, that's when negative momentum takes over. Here, everything feels heavy, slow, and difficult. This is where you stall, you drift, and sometimes you move backwards. In this episode, we're going to talk about how to build momentum, how to protect it, and how to get back on track when things don't go your way. So why does momentum matter at all? Is it just a mindset? And what's the risk of negative momentum? More than a bad day or embracing a bad attitude, negative momentum is a destructive force that pulls your life in the wrong direction, one step at a time. Oftentimes it's subtle at first, but the longer it builds up, the harder it is to overcome. It doesn't just leave you feeling unproductive, it also has the power to impact your relationships, career, faith, mental health, finances, and overall direction. You've probably heard the saying, when it rains, it pours. Normally people say this expression when things go from bad to worse, and that is exactly what happens when negative momentum gets the better of us. When we find ourselves here, one challenge leads to another. You get tired, discouraged, overwhelmed, and it becomes more and more difficult to turn things around. Before you know it, disbelief sets in and you feel stuck. This is where frustration, overthinking, and discouragement start to take over. For a lot of people, this is where they compromise, cut corners, and look for shortcuts, which oftentimes make things worse in the long term. Let me paint a picture of how this can play out in the real world. Imagine you spend all night trying to finish a big project because things outside of your control went wrong and it was up to you to fix it, which is a good and very responsible thing to do when problems present themselves. However, we're all human, and because of that, when we don't have enough sleep, we often don't have enough patience, energy, or focus as we normally would. So the next morning, you show up at work and you are absolutely exhausted. This, my friends, is the point where we need to decide how we are going to respond. Here, we can be honest and admit that we're tired, but it's important that we make the clear distinction between I feel tired and I am tired. A feeling can be real, but it doesn't have to dictate or control how you react to things. However, when you start saying I am tired, that's when we need to be careful, because though this may be true, it becomes dangerous when we let a problem define our identity or our actions. This can lead to excuses, mistakes, and more often than not, it will make a bad situation much, much worse. When negative momentum takes over, a bad night becomes a bad day becomes a bad week becomes a bad season, and so on and so on. So let me ask you this: have you ever had a day that negative momentum got the best of you? Because I know that I have. If so, drop a thumbs up in the comments and know that you're not alone. Without a doubt, momentum is powerful. It's a massive boost when things are going your way. And when it's against you, it is not an easy task to turn things around. I've definitely seen this play out in my own life, and let me tell you, it's a game changer. Those who know me know that I'm a planner, a systems guy, a perfectionist by nature who does my best to prepare for every outcome that I may encounter. Most of the time, this sets me up for success because I take on the day with those strategies that set me up to build that positive momentum, which start things off right. However, life happens and things rarely go according to plan. Growing up, I didn't like this, and now I still don't, but I know that the only way to keep momentum is to adapt and keep moving forward no matter what it takes. When things didn't go my way, a bad habit that I would sometimes do was to start listing all the bad things that were going wrong and imagine how many more things could possibly make it worse. While this kind of reaction may feel justifiable in the moment, it's not helpful because complaining doesn't get things done. It only fuels that negative momentum. So I had to intentionally train myself to break free from that bad habit and negative mindset so I could take that energy and turn it into finding a solution. So when this happens, the first thing I do is pause, to take a step back, breathe, look at what the obstacle is so I can find the opportunity to move forward. Because I know that if I could regain that positive momentum, that is where change happens, and that is where I want to be. Does this make the problem magically disappear? No. But it puts me in the best position to regain some much needed traction so I could start moving in the right direction. Here, you don't need to change everything in a moment. You just need to get that ball rolling again. So the next question becomes, how do we build momentum that lasts? From my experience, not just as a coach or as a professional, a coworker, or leader, momentum isn't just something that impacts the individual. It is something that impacts everyone around them. Whether at work, at home, or in your personal life, we lead ourselves and we lead others. When you build momentum in your own life, oftentimes it multiplies outward. Not only do you think clearer, communicate better, work smarter, but the people around you start to feel it too. While it sounds like an odd way to learn this principle, one of the first places I ever saw this play out was in a video game. EA Sports NCAA 2007. Anyway, the game had a really cool feature called the Momentum Meter, where it boosted your entire team's ratings when you had back-to-back positive plays. And this helped you make better passes, make more broken tackles, and make big plays that led to touchdowns so you can make that highlight reel. But on the flip side, if things weren't going well and you were making a lot of mistakes, momentum would swing the other way and you'd struggle, your best players would get cold, and you'd have to hope for either a big play or call a timeout in order to get things going again. Even if you've never played this game or understand a single thing that I'm talking about, this is a very good example of what momentum looks like and the difference that it makes. Okay, so we understand why momentum matters. The next question to ask is, what is the best way to build it? Here's a simple 4-step approach that'll help you out. First, start with awareness. Take notice of where you are. Are things coming together or are things falling apart? Second, adjustment. This is where we need to make a change. Maybe it's changing a habit, a mindset, or a behavior. Third, action. Take one step at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself by overthinking things. Just get started. Fourth, acceleration. Once you get things moving, begin stacking wins and witness the power that the compound effect has on everything that you do. These tips are simple, practical, and repeatable, so keep them in mind whenever you're trying to build that positive momentum. On top of this, with your permission, I want to challenge you so you can start building some of that momentum today. Here's what you can start with. Identify one action, small but meaningful win that you can achieve today and complete it. Maybe it's going for a run, do your laundry, or just taking out the trash. Just do something that's positive, brings you progress, and moves you forward in the right direction. Too many times we want to build Rome in a day, but that's not how it's done. Success starts with doing the small things right, doing those things consistently, turning actions into habits and habits into behaviors. Wherever you find yourself today, I want you to understand that where you find yourself now doesn't have to dictate where you're going. You're not defined by where you've been or the momentum that you've lost along the way. You're defined by the God who made you and the purpose that He has created and called you to pursue. One of my favorite quotes comes from Pastor Craig Rochelle, who says, "It is not what we do occasionally that makes a difference. It is what we do consistently that matters." My friends, momentum is built brick by brick, step by step, and choice by choice. The fact that you're here watching or listening to a podcast like this shows that you're already taking action and that you're starting the process to get ahead. Don't put yourself down thinking that things can't get better when it's time to pick yourself back up and believe that better is on its way, but it is up to you to take action. My friend, if today's conversation gave you value, make sure you subscribe so you can continue gaining insights to help you move forward with momentum. And if you're a man who's looking to gain career clarity, build confidence, and pursue a life of purpose, visit wordsofgoodcourage.com so you can check out the online courses, coaching programs, and resources that I've made to help you move forward with momentum. Thank you for being here, joining this journey with me. I'm grateful for you and excited to see what's ahead. Let's keep building momentum, and I'll see you soon.